Hi Vanya, hi Markus.
Hi Vanya, hey Björn.
So Markus, when it comes to product development based on narrowband IoT or LTM modules, what should be measured and what can be automated and why it should be automated?
Most obvious use case, of course, is the comparison between the measurements you do, and especially if you have taken a look at our previous videos, there was always a problem that different timings cause different values in the overall power consumption. And with automation, it's possible to at least have the same timing for your measurements, and therefore the results are comparable. And in my daily work, of course, I will use the automation and scripting to pass the same scenarios over different types of modules under different conditions, like different mobile operators and different signal strength, and yeah, then I can compare it to my previous results and can automate everything.
Exactly. So yeah, with automation toolbox, you can then script not only as you did before with a UART channel, manually enter the commands, but with the scripting you can more precise send the commands, right?
Yes, exactly. And I've been using the Python script environment from OTArch.
You used OT and you used the OT automation toolbox and you focused on Python. Why did you choose the Python, and can you walk us through your project steps?
Sure. So Python is mainly chosen because it's quite simple, easy to adapt to the scripting, and we internally use Python environments as well, and many test systems have Python interfaces, and therefore you can just combine everything. So if you want to test against a simulator, you can even include that into the Python scripting, and of course this is a big advantage. And I use the Python v3 installation. I just installed some packages which I needed, so standard packages, and then I got the example from your GitHub environment. Yeah, and I saw you've got examples for Java and MATLAB as well. Yes, I was able to do every action I can do in the GUI is able to pass into the script. Even the calibration can be done from the script. However, I had to forward messages to the log from external and some comments, and I have to put, or I want to put the output of a simulator into the log. So I use the log toolbox.
Yeah, exactly, Markus. So by also using the log toolbox, you can access external log files and import them into the tool. So you can, for example, access logs from network simulators and other equipment that you have that gives you more information about how your system works.
So let us go into the project that you were working with, Markus. Can you show us a few examples?
Sure. I used one of the example scripts to have an easy startup, and I just changed the values for my use case, and I added many prints to have an output on my shell, and then I did all the settings I need to do. So my 5-volt for powering my board, and then my 3.6 volt to power the module. And then I was just implementing the way we did the measurements in one of our previous videos, where I sent these 40 bytes or 20 bytes, I can't remember, where I did send the UDP message and measured the power consumption for that. As you can see here, there are many sleeps in between. because I have to wait for the module and for the registration, and then I'm sending the data. And finally, so I will just start the script. We can see what happens. And finally, I do collect all measurement values and calculate the average power consumption and the overall power consumption. As you can see here, all my outputs are in the shell, and here already the data arrived on my server side. And now it is waiting for the suspend ready indication, which was always our measurement interval for the measurements of sending the data. This takes some seconds. Problem here is that, as you can see, it's not quite fast because I'm not reacting on the module. I'm just waiting as long as I need it. And finally, I got my number of recordings. And here, my whole duration was 66 seconds, and I've got an average of 12 milliamp and an overall power consumption of 860 microwatt hours. But if I now start the whole thing again, we see that the module comes from a different status, because now it's coming out of the sleep. So there's a this resume, and the scenario is totally different. So there's a need to react on the module status, and therefore I needed to check the RX log. And this is the second script I want to show you, where I passed the RX log and reacted on the module status. I created some functions to get the new lines in the RX log, and I remembered the place or the line where I've been in the RX log to quickly react. And else I just used my simple script and removed mainly all these sleep messages. And here, for example, I can now check if the module is in roaming status or registering to the home PLMN according to the CREC status. And yeah, just give it a run, and we will see the difference between the two scriptings. Now I'm coming from the PSM again, but this time it's not so important because I'm reacting on every single message from the module. And as you have seen, its data has been sent already. Finally, we anyway have to wait for the suspend ready indication. And but without all the sleeps before, it's much faster. Okay, now it should come up. Suspend ready. Here I got it. Now I'm putting the module into sleep, collecting all the measurement values as in the script before. And now I'm down with my energy needed to 500 microwatt hours, which is nearly the same value which we have done manually when I'm quite fast. And this, of course, I can repeat now several times. And okay, this time it was only 500. I have been down to 400 something already, but you never know. Every provider, every network, every day there's a different condition.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point, because I mean, this is the reason why you should be doing all of these measurements, right? And since they are quite tedious in work, the automation is the key for this. So we know that you guys are using this at Thales, and that you're quite keen on improving this, and of course quite keen on saving time in doing this. But how do you, like, what would you recommend to your customers when it comes to these measurements?
Yeah, so we are implementing the scripting into our system test, and as mentioned, we have got a Python-based framework as well to test our modules and to operate the simulators, and therefore it's a best approach to include these measurements every night, every day, measure, measure, measure.
For sure. Exactly. Thank you for that, Markus. More on protocols, which was Markus was talking about. You can watch the video above. More on the automation and how you can use it and how it can help you to do more relevant things faster. You can check out the links in the description below. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe. So thank you, Markus and Björn.
Thank you.
Thanks.